al-Qaeda and the Taliban. They're not kidding. This is not hyperbole. Hitler, when he wrote Mein Kampf, people thought, that's ridiculous. There's no way. He wasn't kidding. This is not a joke. These ex-CIA guys who are saying that they want to bring the Middle East war tactics home against us, they are auditioning for jobs in what is going to be some version of Stasi or SS. They are not only auditioning for jobs, they are signaling to others, of their comrades, that this is now approved. Before the Rwandan massacres and genocide, the state radio was running anti-Tutsi messages, for like a year straight. Tutsis are the reason everything is rotten in Rwanda. We got to throw off the Tutsi overlords. It became acceptable to curse at and hate your Tutsi neighborhood. Then when a plane crash happened and the Hutu president plane crashed, they said the Tutsis did it. And it was a full-on massacre from then on. We are going to see in this country something on that level. The hatred is intentionally being banned. If you think this is just a pendulum and it is going to swing back, you are like somebody living in Cambodia right before the Khmer Rouge marched in. It's not going to swing back until the crazy train goes right off the cliff. And I've said before, my new formula is Weimar Germany, because we're building in the hyperinflation right now. You just can't inject trillions of dollars and then have no consequence. There might even be like a sugar high. There might be a year or two of a great economy, coming out of the COVID lockdown. There will be a lot of traveling and purchasing. Same thing happened in Weimar Germany. The Weimar Republic printing money didn't automatically, immediately lead to hyperinflation. First, there was a big economic stimulus. People thought, hey, this is actually working. Then straight into hyperinflation, straight to Hitler. Then you've got the breakup of the country, Yugoslavia style, which I see coming. And then you've got this race war on top of it all that's going to be like Rwanda. And you do not want to be near a Democrat city when this happens. I'm going to continue on this theme when we get back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, keep us on air. We'll continue to bring you the banned guests. We'll continue to bring the information that no one else will touch. I'm going to get into some of that coming up here in the third hour. Keep us on air. Go to InfoWarsStore.com. We're really excited to announce this, and quite frankly, I'm thrilled. We have a new sleep aid. We can't get enough sleep aids as far as I'm concerned. A new sleep aid at InfoWarsStore.com. Down and out sleep support. This is a liquid tincture. Pretty much similar to the Rocket Rest that is so popular, but this is in a liquid tincture formula. So a little more easily absorbable, and the effects will be probably quicker. But I'm going to test this out for myself, and I'll give you a review. But a new sleep aid, Down and Out, is on sale at InfoWarsStore.com.
It's crazy to get to this point. It's very bittersweet. Everything we've talked about has happened just like we said it would. And now we have a lot of credibility. But I don't care about that. I care about beating the New World Order. And it's because we have so much credibility, they can't allow us to stay on air much longer. And I don't have time to tell you all the stuff they're doing to us for a lot of reasons. I can't tell you what's going on. But let's just say this. We're going to see this through to the end. We're going to stay on air as long as we can. So please pray for us and please buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. They're great products. Plus, they fund the operation. So unlike other products you can buy, they're still great. Do they fund freedom? No, a lot of them don't. These are great products that fund freedom and fund justice when the whole world's waking up and looking for truth. That's why the globalists are censoring. They can't bring in all this tyranny and leave people like us on the air. So while you're at it, don't just financially support us and spread the word. Download everything we've done you can find and save it, because who knows how long we're going to be on the air, and the enemy is trying to destroy everything we ever said. It's crazy to get to this point. It's very bittersweet. Everything we've talked about has happened just like we said it would. And now we have a lot of credibility, but I don't care about that. I care about beating the New World Order. And it's because we have so much credibility, they can't allow us to stay on air much longer. And I don't have time to tell you all the stuff they're doing to us for a lot of reasons. I can't tell you what's going on, but let's just say this. We're going to see this through to the end. We're going to stay on air as long as we can. So please pray for us and please buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. They're great products, plus they fund the operation. So you know, unlike other products you can buy, they're still great. Do they fund freedom? No, a lot of them don't. These are great products that fund freedom and fund justice when the whole world's waking up and looking for truth. That's why the globalists are censoring. They can't bring in all this tyranny and leave people like us on the air. So while you're at it, don't just financially support us and spread the word. Download everything we've done you can find and save it, because who knows how long we're going to be on the air, and the enemy is trying to destroy everything we ever said. I'm not going to sit here and waste your time or my time and rattle off the successes InfoWars has had. If you're paying attention, you know what we've done together. But I'll tell you this, the technocrats are really upping their game, and they are trying to destroy all independent forms of media. They're trying to shutter and silence human resistance. So now is the time to understand that everything we've talked about has been proven accurate. Everything you warned your friends and family about is turned out to be true. So it's now that your credibility's way up. The power structure is going to silence those of us that they can. But it's up to all of us to not let them silence any of us. We have the power. But the sun is setting on humanity and setting on free speech. We have to make sure that we fight hard right now to make sure that long, dark night doesn't come. So be the polar bears you are.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones with Matt Bracken.
Listen, I'd really much rather, I would any day of the week, much rather be talking about, happy stuff. I'd rather be out sailing somewhere, anything but this. But I feel like it's my mission, it's my task, and I feel this is the same with Alex. Our job now is more than anything to be a canary in the coal mine. Why do we do this? Why don't we just punch out, bug out, lay low, gray man it, move to Belize or somewhere and, just hide. Because we do have a higher calling, kind of a mission. And now our mission is to stand out and be gadflies for as long as we can. Because we are literally canaries in the coal mine. As long as we're tolerated, that's going to be a signal to a lot of people to, keep chilled out. What the tyrants in Washington, D.C., the rising tyranny in Washington, D.C., what they are begging for is something like what happened in Oklahoma City. That is what they go to bed every night dreaming about. And if it won't happen on its own, I have no doubt that the FBI has people out cultivating psychos and losers and trying to coach them. I've seen studies where more than half of the quote-unquote domestic terror attempts in the last decade were entirely run and coached by the FBI. Finding some loser online, befriending him, meeting him in real life, and then just handing him all the tools so that they can make an arrest. Aha, the FBI saved the day again. And it's all been bogus. They have to be very careful about that, because if things go completely haywire, there might be some connection back from Oklahoma City to the Elohim city where the militias had been gathering with FBI infiltrators and confidential informants. So they have to be very careful how they do that. But there's no doubt that's what they're aiming for. They want a mass sniping like Las Vegas level or a bombing like Oklahoma City. That is their goal. And when you see a society going this crazy, where children are going to be surgically castrated or worse, surgically or medically castrated as children that can't smoke, can't buy beer, but are going to be put into a guidance counselor lane where the parents will not be able to get them out of this psychological operation. This is a very sick, evil society. It is not going to self-correct. There's a great quote by a writer named Theodore Dalrymple that is spelled Dalrymple, something like that. And this explains the madness. You think, did this just like come out of the ground? Did an asteroid full of crazy virus hit us? Where did this come from, this madness? Biological men in female sports. And everybody is supposed to just say, it's normal. It's the science. Trust the science. Don't trust your own eyes. 2 + 2 = 5 now, comrade. This is the purpose of this madness. This is a quote by Theodore Dalrymple. It really explains so much. He said, in my study of communist societies, and I include us now, okay? They use the terms like identity politics, critical race theory. It all comes from cultural Marxism. It's communist, okay? That's where we're going. In my study of communist societies, I came to the conclusion that the purpose of communist propaganda was not to persuade or to convince, not to inform, but to humiliate. And therefore, the less it corresponded to reality, the better. When people are forced to remain silent, when they are being told the most obvious lies, like there's no difference between men and women, or worse, when they are forced to repeat the lies themselves, they lose once and for all their sense of probity. I had to look that up. It means moral principles, honesty, and decency. Okay? So when you are forced to repeat lies that you know are lies, you lose your compass. To assent to, going back to the quote, to assent to obvious lies is, in some small way, to become evil oneself. One standing to resist anything is thus eroded and even destroyed. A society of emasculated liars is easy to control. I think if you examine political correctness, it has the same effect and it is intended to. So they get an entire country to repeat to each other that the naked emperor is wearing beautiful clothes. And the child that stands up and says that the emperor is naked is stoned and cast out. That's where we are now. We are in this cycle of madness, in a vortex, and there is no getting out of this vortex. You'll notice how few Republicans are willing to stand up with a couple of the brave ones in the Freedom Caucus. How few Republicans are willing to stand up and say, this is insanity. This is madness. All of the Democrats and at least half of the Republicans are on for the ride. They're on the crazy train, and they are not going to stop till we go off the edge. So don't think that we're going to, just come back in 2022 and everything is going to right itself. It's not going to happen. They just passed last night this House Bill number 1, which takes all of the worst things that happened in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia. It makes them national law. Mass mail-in ballots to everybody, living or dead, that will never have a signature check or an address check. It's the end of any hint of a fair election. It is putting into effect a Marizuela. Now, probably it won't pass in the Senate. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If it passes in the Senate, we've officially become a banana republic, period. You might as well tear up any political card you have, because your vote will be worth nothing. It will just be Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, across the country by law. And this is the salami tactic, the Marxist dialectic that they use. They will say, okay, well, we didn't get that, but we'll come back next year, we'll get half of it. Then we'll get another half the year after, and another half the year after that. One of the next laws that's coming is this Equality Act. This is the 2 + 2 = 5 Act. This absolutely blows religion out of our country. It means that if you are a religious organization and a man with a beard wearing a miniskirt with lipstick comes up and you don't hire them, you will be charged with a crime. Period. And you know that they'll, just like the gay bakery stories, these radicals will use this as a battering ram against our churches. They will attack our churches and destroy them using the Equality Act. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to explain how in most of modern revolutions, the French Revolution, the Jacobins, the Russian Revolution, all of these revolutions involved absolutely destroying the religiosity of the people to the greatest extent possible. Because these communists, to them, the state is God. And there can be no God above the communist state. And now it's going to be a global communist state. They may not use that word, but that's what it is. This is the end of religion in America.
For so long, a large portion of our audience thought that we were engaged in fear porn. They thought we were exaggerating. That's not happening now. People realize that we were telling you the truth about what was going on. Now, the majority of our audience were veterans and firefighters and police and business people. They'd already experienced the real world. They had seen what we were talking about for themselves, so they knew we weren't lying. But to a lot of folks, especially young people that thought this was extreme or made up, now you realize it's not a joke. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a joke. And now that everything we've talked about is coming true, InfoWars is more important than ever. We're doing more good in a month staying on air than we used to do in 10 years. This is our time. The New World Order's out in the open, and we're going to end up beating them in the end. But I want to keep InfoWars in the mission and in the attack for truth and justice as long as possible. So please spread the word about the broadcast, and please buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. We've got free shipping right now for only one more week, and who knows how long we'll be here. Just please take action now. For so long, a large portion of our audience thought that we were engaged in fear porn. They thought we were exaggerating. That's not happening now. People realize that we were telling you the truth about what was going on. Now, the majority of our audience were veterans and firefighters and police and business people. They'd already experienced the real world. They had seen what we were talking about for themselves, so they knew we weren't lying. But to a lot of folks, especially young people that thought this was extreme or made up, now you realize it's not a joke. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a joke. And now that everything we've talked about is coming true, InfoWars is more important than ever. We're doing more good in a month staying on air than we used to do in 10 years. This is our time. The New World Order's out in the open, and we're going to end up beating them in the end. But I want to keep InfoWars in the mission and in the attack for truth and justice as long as possible. So please spread the word about the broadcast, and please buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. We've got free shipping right now for only one more week, and who knows how long we'll be here. Just please take action now. I sell supplements for two reasons. Because they work, they're real, they're powerful, and because it's a giant market. But again, why is there a giant market? Because it works. That's why it exponentially grows. So whether it's saw palmetto and other key ingredients in our prostate formula, Prostagard, or whether it is the super high-grade organic vitamin B12 in Ultra 12, or whether it's the PQQ and the CoQ10 in DNA Force, or the pure deep earth crystal iodine in X2, these are all the very best supplements you're going to find in an already